starting. This is the reward you get for the first draft. First draft. Okay, everybody, before we get started, we're starting to write at 9 o'clock. If you can't come live in person, you get a prize, which is our first draft of our directory, which is definitely a draft. So, and the nice thing to remember is that Realm is our database, and that allows you to go in. You can sign up and change all your information. So you're in charge of it. So that's the good thing. So I might run out, but we will make more. No. Director. Down to 2. Michael, come on up. You get to sit and be.
Hey, Owen. Are we starting? It's 9 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Chuck Silva, and I'm your senior warden. Thank you all for coming to the annual meeting, the 472nd, I don't know what annual meeting it is, but we've had a lot of them because this is a very old church. I did want to say before we get to the business of the meeting, I think I've been the senior warden for 2 years, 3 years. And this is the first time I've gotten up in front of you all to talk. And part of that is COVID, and part of that is me. So if you'll indulge me for just a tiny little second. Because I have a speech coconut. It's because I can say coconut, and I can't say the other word that I would be able to say if I didn't have the thing, which makes it hard for me to say it. Impediment, thank you. So it's not a big deal, but when two things happen when I get up to speak. One is a lot of what I say you should ignore completely, and the other thing that will definitely happen is that I will stutter. So just know that, and that's it. Okay, that was fun. So now I'm going to bring my imaginary wooden hammer thingy that judges have. Thank you. Starts with the letter G. 10 points for Gryffindor. Good, good. And we'll call the meeting to order. And there really isn't that much that I wanted to cover. We pushed out a lot of content during the week, and I hope you've all had a chance to look at some of that stuff online. I don't quite know when the annual report came out, but it's a great read. My part is probably the best, but Kelly's is pretty good, and Olin's is very detailed, and he is in there, right? Okay, good. But I did want to talk a little bit about stewardship. I had this idea, I don't know how it works in your family, but when we do jigsaw puzzles, I'm sure everyone does this. It's a family thing, and so when they set it all up and the girls and Meg are there, I'll sneak by and I'll just take a piece and I'll hide it somewhere, like in my pocket, and everyone does that, right? It's not just me. I know you all do. And then when they get very close to the end and I say it's done, but there's a piece missing, and then I'm like, booyah, and then they say, Dad, that's not. Anyway, but I haven't done my pledge yet, and most of you have, so I was going to do it this morning and hopefully get us over, but my pledge is not going to get us over, although we're really, really close. And I don't remember what the numbers are, but we're at like 520, 525 out of 550 is our goal. And in terms of individual pledges, we're doing very well there. Our goal is to get to 300. If we get to 300 this year, everyone gets a Rob Stevens tote bag. Or not, if you don't want the tote bag. And that's it. We've got a pretty clean agenda. I'm gonna turn it over to Rob. He's gonna pray, say some Rob stuff, and then we'll work through the other people who are gonna present. We're all gonna be here for questions at the end, and your questions are encouraged. There's at least one microphone, but if you don't like microphones, you can approach any of us at any time after the meeting or anywhere you see us. So, thanks. Rob.
The Lord be with you. Let us pray. Loving and gracious God, thank you for this community of St. John's, for trusting us with this gift of community. Help us to be good stewards, to care for this place, and to share this light with the world, the light that you give us. Thank you that you love us and that you trust us. Help us to be kind to one another and to ourselves, and in all things, God, help us to have grateful hearts. Amen. All right, so Steve Fauci, our clerk or secretary, is going to kind of run through kind of some of the business stuff around who's being elected.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, I think one of the first things is the order of business is there is in the annual report, there's a clerk's report, which I'm the clerk. I didn't know I had to have a report for today, and luckily, Rebecca reminded me it was just the minutes from last year's meeting. So I think the first order is just for the minutes of last year's meeting, can I have a motion to approve them? Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? Okay. Opposed? Good. Off to a good start. Now, I'm also up here now to put forth an outstanding slate of candidates for our vestry. But first, I wanted to say a word of thanks very briefly to Ali Dudas, Lizzie Bristow, and Barry Heckler, who have served very admirably. And if you want to hear true eloquence in all of their accomplishments and contributions, you can re-listen to Chuck's video from earlier this week. But I'm privileged to put forth for our 3-year vestry terms, Brooke Bassett, Mike Rainboth, who's here, and Ken Slover. Ken or Brooke, are you here as well? Okay. Great. Well, Mike's here, so he gets the flowers. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Can I have a motion to accept this slate of outstanding individuals to be our vestry term for 3 years? Jane? Thank you. A second? Second. Great, thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Great. Another good vote. Okay, thank you very much. And I'll pass it on to Kelly, who'll take us through the financials.
One thing that I just want to say about the way that we select leadership in this community, and it's in our bylaws, which I read every night before I go to bed, and so is that our officers, which are our senior warden, our junior warden, our treasurer, and our clerk, are appointed by the rector, and there are not term limits on those. So these folks will be doing this until I die. No, I'm just kidding. But that is true, that those are appointed by the rector. Then there are 3 elected positions to vestry. So there are 3 3-year terms. There are 9 people on the vestry at any given time, and they do that. And it is the rector's responsibility to make sure we have a vestry. And so I do ask 3 people to run for those spots each year. But anybody in the congregation can run for a vestry. It is an open, there's no nominating committee. If you are, basically, if you show up, you are eligible. And so I just want to make sure that everybody knows that. But that's kind of where we haven't had quote unquote contested elections in a while, but I do want you to know that that is the way that our structure in this parish is set up. And one of the things that we ask as a body when people are rotating off is, who are we missing? And really trying to make sure that the vestry is representative of our community as a whole. And so I just want people to know that, and that that's the way that things happen around here. So, and with that, I want to just turn it over to Kelly with some good numbers. And Randy, you got to get up there and sit next to them. Do I? Yeah, I got a chair for you.
Great. All right, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Great. All right, so today I'll cover a few highlights of our 2022 financials and our 2023 budget. Our financials are posted on our website with the annual report and a more detailed explanation. So I always encourage you to read my treasurer's report, as you'll find more detail about the financials there. Our 2022 financial performance exceeded expectations, and we start another year in a position of financial strength, which is reflected in our budget planning for 2023 as well. So jumping right into 2022. Our overall revenue was $1,085,909, and our expenses was $1,052,805. Our endowment draw was $63,000 in 2022. With our pledge and plate offerings and strong revenue parking, we covered our operating expenses. We'll end this year with a surplus, which includes our full endowment draw, and that surplus is $96,000. That's really great news. A big thank you to our community, not only for your annual giving, but your continued generosity in our mission and our supportive programs. We are thriving financially due to your support in our parking program. A couple of key highlights to mention regarding 2022. Personnel expenses were favorable as Rob continues his efforts to find the right candidate as our associate rector. Building and grounds was unfavorable, though, as we had unplanned repairs for a leaky window trim, the Thaxter Hall roof, and some minor other repairs. Program reimbursement was lower related to the choir school, and we continue to have fiscal responsibility with our capital program, overcoming a few challenges along the way, which resulted in upward budget adjustments. Overall, we raised $1.975 million, and we had capital expenditures of $1,971,000 to date. We're in the process of closing out the punch list items, and we anticipate a few $1,000s of final expenses. And we'll celebrate today Roberts Hall. In Q4, we had a successful review of our 2021 financials by a new audit firm. So all in all, 2022 was a great year. So moving on to 2023 budget. So on Thursday, the vestry approved a balanced 2023 operating budget of nearly $1.2 million. Our overall revenue and expenses is planned at $1,180,440. Most of our revenue stream comes from two sources, our parishioners and our parking revenue. As of this week, we're at nearly 95% of our pledge target dollars and 73% of individual or family pledges. Some of our goals for 2023 is to recruit that associate rector and maximize parking revenue so we can continue to grow our programming here at St. John's. And of course, we'll continue to manage our expenses appropriately. Our expenses have been approved with diligence, and they do include a staff increase aligned with the diocese guidelines, a slight increase to health insurance per our provider, our contribution or pledge to the diocese, and then proper funding in building and grounds for the upkeep of our facilities. For 2023, we'll plan a $75,000 withdrawal from the endowment, which is 4.95% of our 5-year annual balance of the endowment fund. This is aligned with our spending and investment policy. As we've done each year, our programs will continue to thrive and live our mission due to your generosity. Again, I encourage you to read our vestry minutes each month as we post them to the website. There you'll find a monthly summary of our financial health throughout the year. In closing, 2022 was a great year, and 2023 looks very bright.
Thanks, Kelly. Now, Jerry will give us a building update, and I'm sorry, Olin, I'm trying to stay in the light. He's trying to follow me with the camera. But Jerry.
I got to grow some. Good morning. In Rob's reflection, he mentioned that 2022 was one of his best years since he's been ordained. For me, as junior warden, I have been junior warden for now about 17 years, with a break in the middle there. But the last 8 years have been special to me. We redid our parking lot, repaired the retaining wall and the slanted steps down bottom. We updated our Philbrook room and the downstairs with new lighting and ceiling and paint. We updated our bathrooms, which are now handicap accessible. We updated the hall, new ceiling, new lights, new paint. We updated our kitchen with stainless steel countertops, a new stove, fire suppressant system. We updated the memorial walkway, putting in a walkway that goes all the way back to the cemetery. In the cemetery, we restored and repaired all the headstones. We replaced all the electrical work within this building and put on a new roof. And we built Roberts Hall. A beautiful building, a beautiful space with a wonderful patio out back. We have a granite steps out front. We have a handicapped walkway. We added an elevator and a lift so the folks that have trouble with stairs or difficulty with stairs will still be able to enter this building. As our pamphlet, our bulletin states, all are welcome, and we are living towards that every day. There are some special people that I want to thank. Our Buildings Grounds Committee, who worked diligently with our architect to make that special building what it is today. Kelly Boston, who did our finances and kept us online, of course with Chuck as well, to keep us on track with our finances in this project. And Reggie Baird, who's orchestrated that project from start to finish. But there's another group of people that we need to thank, a very special group of people, and that's all of you. Because without your love and support for this community, these things probably wouldn't happen. So we need to continue to upgrade our buildings, maintain them, so that not only this community, but the outside community and our future generations can continue to enjoy it. We have some special things that we're looking for the future. Solar panels on a roof so that we can decrease our electrical costs for the future. We need some other repairs, which we overexceeded this year, but we're hoping to keep on track this year. So thank you, and God bless.
So now is a chance to ask some questions. Ashley Wade will be joining us for some fun numbers, but she is wearing one of her 20 hats right now. She is doing a rehearsal for the musical that's happening, and she's supposed to be here, but she'll get here when she can get here. But any questions for the team? Brad Lown.
What's the total parking revenue roughly?
What is the total parking revenue? I'm just repeating the question so people at home can hear.
I want to make sure I give you the right year. All parking for 2022 was about $349,000, and for 2023, we have planned $276,000, which you'll see is less. So we always tried to be conservative to ensure we have a balance, to ensure we have some room in the budget.
And so please know also, people have asked this question about taxes. We pay property tax and we pay UBIT tax, unrelated business income tax. They taught me all about this in seminary. But I just want you to know that that is gross, not net, correct? Okay.
Correct.
What governs how the way you wrote your report, your summary here, it looks like that the endowment law is required. Is there some like equation that says what you must take, or was it just done to balance the budget?
What is our policy for how we determine what we take out of the endowment? Is that fair, Andy? I just want people to be able to hear it.
Yeah, so each year what we do is we pull a percentage of the endowment for programming, right? And I'll say programming, not operations, but it's all the same here at St. John's. So what we did in 2022 is we don't know until we pull the money in sometimes the summer, sometimes in third quarter for cash flow purposes, because it's all about your pledges and the plate income coming in. So we had that money, but we use it for programming to build the programming today for the future. So that's how the budget was built. This is the first time, so 8 years, that we've had such a surplus where we didn't need the endowment.
So there is some cash flow thing going on that you have to do to make sure that you have enough income to pay everything.
Absolutely.
And the draw each year is calculated on a 3 or
Oh,
5 year rolling
five-year.
average?
It's the 5-year average of our endowment balance.
And the percentage is?
It fluctuates, anywhere from 3 to 5% since I've been here at St. John's as the treasurer.
And even in years where you get to the end and you've got an operating surplus, we've talked to people who advise on endowments for nonprofits. We still think it's good practice to, if you've built it in, to draw it out. So that's been our policy.
And we are a nonprofit, and so that's one of the realities of that. And also, you might know that the way that we build the endowment, yes, capital gains is wonderful, but also it's through legacy giving. It's people that remembered us in their will. And so I just, as your rector, invite you to consider that, because over time, that is the way that kind of perpetuates life. And so as we think about what an endowment is for, in my mind, is that as we use it to care for this incredible gift that was given to us by our ancestors, our building. And it's also a way to do new initiatives. And so those two things. So, but thank you, Andy, for that question. Ann, you had a question?
No, not anymore.
Okay. Any other questions?
Actually, I wanted to ask, who sets the price for parking in the parking lots?
Great question. Who sets the price for the price in the parking lot? Our parking partners do. They have an algorithm that so the ones that are metered, so if you come in the middle of the winter, they might pay you to park. But if you come on Friday night in July, you're going to pay like $15 an hour. And so it's an algorithm that is set by UPP. It is not your rector, which is, I'm very glad, and it's not your vestry. But that's a great question, Ann, because it is an algorithm that they do based on volume, and it's all throughout. So, and sometimes it's shocking, Ann. I see that on your face, so that's good.
It costs more to park than it does to go to planned events here that are musicals that are not church related.
That's a good point.
Chamber music programs here for $20. It costs 25 or 30 to park.
Good point. Good point. Welcome to Portsmouth. Any other questions? All right, Ashley, let's hear some fun numbers. All right, can you come over to the mic so that we can hear you? Are they up there? Yes, I have them right here for you because you worked very hard on this annual report. There you go. Boom.
He's so well prepared.
For once. One thing that I also want you to know is that Ashley a lot of the times is behind the scenes. Sometimes she's up front, and some of you know her really well. But the annual meeting is also a time to get some of the people that are kind of behind the scenes a lot up front. And Ashley, you have been here for 10 years.
Yes.
10 years with this community is kind of a gift. But then you think 10 years working with this rector is a little bit of a chore. And so I thank you. She started in the choir singing as one of our choir scholars, and now she's full-time. And I look like a genius in this one, but I remember us in 2018 or 19, I think it was 2019, you went to full-time because we added this little bit of your job called communications director, this little like quarter-time thing. And then COVID happened. And this person lived on a computer for 18 months, she was our director. Remember those online programmed services? If you go way back, you remember the Zoom ones? She was the one that would stand here and look at her team of faithful talent, the priests, and say, folks, you got to turn it on. You guys are killing me. She would direct us and say, it's all about joy. And you are the one that kind of gave us that direction. And you never take the credit. You never are up front to do it. But I want to make sure that we all hear it and that you hear it. We wouldn't have made it through that time without you. So thank you so much. And yes, asking you to write the fun numbers was a ploy.
Fun numbers. We do have some fun numbers, and I love sharing them with you. So here we go. And this is all in your annual report if you want to go back and look at it. For parish life, we had 67 human beings attend a parish retreat at Mero Vista this year, including 27 children and youth. That's a lot of kids. There were over 100 in-person small group adult formation meetings in 2022. That's a huge increase from the year before where we had almost none. There are 180 people that have created a Realm account. We hope to see more. Daily reflections send to an average of 700 individual email addresses. Reggie and Jerry spent working on Roberts Hall a countless number of hours. In our world of communications, we have some really fun and exciting numbers, especially if you are into marketing and all of these little statistics. So, St. John's, our website, we had 16,000 unique visitors in 2022, including visits from people from 78 countries around the world. The website recorded 7.1 thousand clicks, which is a 204% increase year over year. 724 email addresses are subscribed to receive our weekly communications. 209,000 emails were sent in the last year, resulting in 140.6 thousand emails opened by recipients and 11.3 thousand click-throughs. Our email open rate was 68%, which was a 14% increase from 2021 and a 25% above the industry average. So all in all those numbers tell us that we are growing in our audience, we are growing in our engagement, we are growing in what we do and what we use, and how we reach people outside of the walls of this building. There's some more statistics, numbers on communications, but I'm going to skip ahead to youth and children. 5 youth and their families celebrated Right 13 on May 22nd. That was a really, really wonderful ceremony. It was very special. 43 children and youth members performed in the Christmas pageant this year. And it was the youngest cast we've ever had. I don't know if you saw the pageant this year, but they were almost all elementary school students. And it was really sweet, and they did an amazing job. 18 children, 5 youth, and 2 adult teachers were engaged by the first summer theater camp, and we are doing a second summer theater camp this June. We had, in worship and liturgy, 350 pre-produced videos, 146 live-streamed videos, 300 people attended lessons and carols in person. Currently, 568 views on our YouTube channel for that same service. Over 1.5 thousand views of the presiding Bishop Curry's service at St. John's. And currently 30 members are in our parish choir. And something that maybe somebody mentioned already this morning, but it was a really cool fun fact. There were churches, parishes in the New Hampshire diocese that all sat together in their sanctuary and streamed our service that morning for their whole community. So they all sat and watched the bishop with us and came to St. John's with us. So that's pretty cool. And I'm really grateful that we have the ability to welcome people in like that. Wow, that's something really special and new. Finally, our outreach numbers. 13 polar packs were given and shared with unhoused or marginally housed people. 51 common table lunches were served, rain, snow, or shine. Over 5,000 baked goods were prepared from volunteers, all delicious. Over $20,000 was raised for the Ukraine and sent through the Episcopal Relief and Development Fund. And those are the end of our fund numbers for today. Thank you for listening for 10 years.
Thank you, Ashley. Any other questions? Okay, so now you get to listen to me talk a little bit. This is my favorite part. It's kind of the thank yous. And I did say that this was one year in which, definitely one of my favorite years of ordained ministry, and it had to do with just the level of involvement. I think we were all so hungry to be back together, and there was this craving for connection, and it was just a lot of fun. I am so lucky to play with the team I play with, and it is a big community, and the staff, you know, they just do their work. They're amazing. You know, Ashley, Ann, Olin, Michelle, you know, Jen and Rebecca. So Michelle and Rebecca are really behind the scenes. They don't come on Sunday. You might have seen Rebecca read at lessons and carols and go, who's that? Well, that's your parish administrator. But there's amazing work that goes on. And Michelle is our bookkeeper and work hand in hand with Kelly, and they're a formidable team. And then you think about it, a bookkeeper, and then you do a capital campaign and a capital project. I don't know, it's a competition, Reggie, between you and Michelle on who's more excited that this thing's done. And so, and I mean, she is very, because it's just a lot to keep up with. And then, Anne, I just need to give you a shout out. You are just great. And it's like she's been a... She's done something that I don't know that many people can do. She has gone from basically full-time to now quarter-time in the same community and done it with grace and with a lot of vulnerability and being able to just say, I need this for me, now. And it is serving all of us. And so I so thank you for kind of being that brave and being willing to kind of say, yeah, this is what I need now. And I always tease her and say, when you do exactly what you want to do, we're all going to benefit. And so one of the things that I'd like to say and remind you is that you don't have to do anything. You just do the get-tos now. And thank you for being my partner in ministry for 10 years now, and so over 10, and I'm glad you're not going anywhere. Thank you. And then I want to say that our music program, nobody leaves church humming the sermon. I mean, they just don't. You might remember a phrase or two, but it's the end of the day when you're humming, washing the dishes, and going, oh my gosh. And I'm telling you, so pass this on, is that Jen, the way she leads is so excellent. It's not, she's got personality, she's got plenty of oomph, but the way she leads, one of my favorite things I get to do on a Sunday or on a Lessons and Carols is I sit right there, and then I get to look up here, and I get to watch her conduct. It's one of my favorite things. She does it with her whole body. She's just in, and it's all about the love. I am not a musician, but I can hear it. You can hear the quality. It's not just that they hit the right notes. It's that they love each other. And that's what I hear when you all sing. I hear this love that just pours through our community. And that is one of the gifts that we at St. John's have to give to the world. Our choir school, our children's choir, our adult choir. It's that we share this. It's not that we come and get it just right. It's that it's about love. What Jennifer understands in a way that she is teaching me on a daily basis is that at St. John's, we do not use people to love music. We use music to love people. And she gets that at her core. And I am so grateful for that. And then to add Olin into that mix as an associate director with her, you could not find two more diverse people about the way they approach life. And it is awesome. And watching them find the middle ground, because Olin will say this, Jen will say this, and they end up here eventually. And it is beautiful. And it is better than. And the love that is there. And then Ashley just kind of manages it all. She's like, okay, kids, we got to get this right. Come on. And it is beautiful to watch them, the trio, as we call them. To me, it's amazing that they work together and they do this amazing work, but then they get up and sing together, and you're like, what? They can do that too? And so I am just so, so grateful to them. And Olin, the director of everything, that kind of title, he has a very fancy title other than that, but I just call him the director of everything. Olin, we have 400 people that worship with us on average every week. Now, we are one of the few churches that I know of, especially in this diocese, that through COVID grew. And we grew through that technology. So we have between 2 and 250 a week that show up. And we have about 150 each week that show up online. And so that's just an amazing accomplishment. Olin, you have taught me a lot. He's up there in the booth, so making sure that this all happens. But each Thursday, we have fun together. We get together and I do these gospel reflections, and we're starting to be able to read each other's mind a little bit. But he still has this incredible prank he pulls on me. It's amazing. So what I do is I stand up here, and you know me, Mr. Text. I don't have text, and I just talk. And he's like, all right, got it. And then if he doesn't like it quite enough, or if he just wants to give me a rib, he'll go, oh, I'm sorry, it didn't capture. Do you know how much power that is? And he doesn't use it all the time, and I am teasing you, Olin, but it is so fun to love the people that you work with, and I am so grateful for that. The staff, I can't say enough. The vestry, same goes for you all. You've hung in there with us through this crazy time, and last year was so much fun. And I do need to just single out Chuck. Chuck is senior warden. He's here. He's present. It's just fun. I remember one time he showed up on a Tuesday, I don't know how long ago it was, but we were like, hey, we're having staff. He goes, I'm part of the staff. And he just sit and sat down. No, I'm part of the staff. But I just want to say thank you, Chuck, just for your ministry of presence, and that you show up, and you never let us take ourselves too seriously, but you always take the gospel seriously. Thank you. And then we've got this building project, and we've hit on it a little bit, but like Jerry and Reggie, I can't really, what do I say? I mean, other than go home. Don't live here. Don't get your cot out of here. But they literally lived here. And you all did a lot of work. And I don't know all the names of the contractors. I wish I did. I could name them all out there for you. But the way that you not just got them in here to do the work, but you shared the gospel with them while they were working. You shared the light with them. They loved working here because of you two, because of the way you treated them with dignity and respect. And I can never thank you enough for that. The way that we kind of showed who we are to those who are quote unquote working for us, that we realized that it wasn't a working for, it was much more a working with. And that was because of you two, and I cannot thank you enough. And so if you showed up today and you were early, you got a prize. It's our directory. It is a first draft, and we mentioned Realm. And so one thing about our new database, you can go in and manage your profile. We don't have to do it. You've got to sign up, and we can help you do that. You can call the office. Rebecca will help you. We're going to have kiosks again where people might be helping at coffee hour. That won't happen today, but we're working at doing that again. But as we get our communication and our information better and better, we'll be able to do this directory that I remember last year we were like, when can we have a directory? And so it only took us a year. That's not too bad. Actually, the speed of church is sometimes slower than that. But it is incomplete. And I think it always will be, but we can get more pictures and more things in there. So I just wanted to say that. And also, I just want to highlight again, Lizzie, Barry, and Allie, who served for 4 years because of COVID. And so, because we kind of froze the vestry there for a year. And they were amazing. And one of the things about technology, Lizzie now lives in Nantucket. Barry spends a lot of time in Florida. And yet we were still able to gather because of Zoom and hybrid meetings. And they were still able to contribute. But I just can't thank you all enough for your service during these very trying times. And we'll miss you in that room for sure. I think that's enough. Any other things that we need to discuss? Bertha.
We have thanked everyone. You have thanked everyone. We have not thanked you for your leadership and your care of all of us. And it's so good.
Thank you. Thanks, Bertha.
Can I get a motion to adjourn? Can I get a second? All those in favor? Any opposed? I dare you. Okay, I declare the meeting adjourned. Thanks for coming, and see you next door. Hopefully.
A reminder, after the 10:30 service, we will be having a dedication of Roberts Hall. It will not be long, but it'll be lovely and wonderful. So please join us for that immediately following the 10:30 service, and then we'll have a festive reception that will follow. Thank you all.